that showed how bad this was, how deadly the virus was. But he went on television, he went on air, I should say, with Bob Woodward, and he said he knew how deadly the virus was, and he hid it from the country. But here's what he did, according to the New York Times several days ago. His administration, they didn't tell us about the virus. The administration gave Wall Street investors, though, a heads up. He didn't tell us. He just told his Wall Street friends, and that's why they made so much money by, quote, selling short in the market. They knew what was coming. But what happened to the rest of us? He tried to claim he didn't want to panic the American people. But the American people don't panic. He panicked. And he still has no plan. All he can do is double down on his Park Avenue way of looking at the world. Before the pandemic, he handed out $1.5 trillion in tax giveaways to the wealthiest families in the nation and to the corporations. And now, even with 30 million Americans who have lost their jobs or hours, he thinks the way to get American economy back on track is he's proposing another multi-billion-dollar tax cut for those corporations and the super wealthy. Since the start of this pandemic, hard to believe, this according to Forbes, billionaires in this country have seen their wealth increase $700 billion. Billionaires. That's not coming from a liberal think group. That's coming from Forbes. $700 billion. But Donald Trump can't get his own party to deliver real economic relief for working families. I don't think he wants to. The Congress has passed the HEROES Act way back in May. He spent all his time in his golf course sand trapper in his bunker, not trying to bring together anybody to get it done. They don't have time for that, to work on how to get relief now to hardworking people, to those unemployed, to small businesses, to schools. In the middle of this pandemic, they do have time, though, to spend several weeks on confirming a new justice who's interested in doing one thing, getting rid of Obamacare. I'll tell you why. Trump's dream of wiping out Obamacare off the books is well underway, because his nominee has said in the past the law should be struck down. If they get their way, over 100 million Americans, including 5.3 million Pennsylvanians, will lose their protections for pre-existing conditions that we work so hard to provide. Complications with COVID-19 will become pre-existing conditions, allowing insurers to jack up your premiums or deny you coverage. And women will again be charged more for their health care just because they're women, which Obamacare wiped out. But nothing is more offensive than the way he's spoken about, as I said, those who serve the nation, suckers and losers. As I said, my son Bo served in Iraq for a year. Before that, he was assistant U.S. attorney in Kosovo for 6 months. He came home a decorated war veteran. And all those he left behind, he wasn't a loser or a sucker, he was a patriot, like so many of you, so many of your sons and daughters, parents and grandparents. Frankly, I've dealt with guys like Trump my whole life, so have many of you. Guys who look down on you because they have a lot of money. Guys who inherited everything, got everything in their life given to them, and then managed to squander it. Guys who afford paying their taxes, he says, because he's smart. He knows how to game the system. Isn't that just the guy you want setting tax policy? The guy who says he's smart to game the system so you don't get the help you need. You pay more taxes because they figure the rest of us, the little people, we can pick up the tab. Now we find out Trump has a secret bank account in China. Well, guess what? He's paid 50 times more in taxes in Beijing than he's paid in America. That's a fact. He has hundreds of millions of dollars in debt, over 400 million, due in the next few years. Who's he owe it to? Where's it coming from? He's the only guy, any of us known as president, who's making money from foreign sources. Folks, give me a break. This guy's not on the level. He thinks Wall Street built this country. But you and I know who really built this country. Families like mine, working people built it, the middle class. And unions built the middle class. Folks, we're so much better than this. We can bring back this economy. It starts with my plan to deal with this pandemic responsibly, bringing the country around to testing and tracing and masking, social distancing, not politicizing the race for a vaccine, planning for its safe and equitable distribution so everyone gets it, providing for funding to open our schools and our businesses safely, the PPE national standards, bringing together Republicans and Democrats to deliver economic relief for working families in schools and in businesses. A majority want to do that, even of those who are there now. As I said before, I'll shut down the virus, not the economy. And we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can build back better than before. An independent analysis by Moody's, a Wall Street firm, looked at my plan and his plan in detail. This is Moody's. And they said my plan will create 18.6 million jobs in the next 4 years. That's 7 million more jobs and $1 trillion more in growth than the president's plan. And that comes from Wall Street and Moody's. Here's how my plan works. None of you will have your taxes raised. Anyone making less than $400,000 will not see a penny in taxes raised. You'll actually see your standard of living go up and your costs go down. And why I'm going to do this? I'm going to ask big corporations, the wealthy, to pay their fair share. Right now, of the Fortune 500 companies, there are 91 who don't pay a single penny in tax. If they just paid 15% instead of the 28% they should, that would raise $400 billion. Allow me to send every single qualified person to community college, if that's what they chose, for free. Make sure everyone with a family income less than $125,000 could go to a state university for free. Making sure that we could make sure you had your health insurance covered. Folks, my dad used to say, if everything's equally important to you, nothing's important. What are your priorities? When they'd say to my dad, let me tell you what I value, Joe. My dad would look at him and say, don't tell me what you value. Show me your budget. I'll tell you what you value. All is this parking lot value opportunity, decency, respect, making sure there's a fair play out there. It's time for working people in the middle class to get tax relief, to help you buy your first home, to pay for that child care, or caring for an aged loved one. How many single moms or moms and dads today made the decision, if their school is open, do I go to my job or do I stay home with my child if it's not open? How do I leave them behind? What do I do? We're going to also make health care affordable for everyone. I'm going to build on the Affordable Care Act so you can keep your private insurance if that's what you choose to do, or you can choose a Medicare-like option if you're poor. Look, we'll increase subsidies to lower your premiums and deductibles and out-of-pocket expenses. It's real. It's been looked at. It's positive. And I'll lower your prescription drug costs in this country by 60%. Now you say, that sounds great, Joe. How are you going to do that? We're going to allow Medicare to negotiate with the drug companies how much they can charge for their prescriptions and all the drugs. Look, we're going to make sure you keep your protections for pre-existing conditions. Barack Obama and I fought too hard for that and won. We're going to protect your Social Security and Medicare. Not what he's doing. He says, re-elect me, and I'm going to do away with the funding for Social Security out of your paycheck. Sounds great, except the actuary at Social Security said that will bankrupt Social Security by 2023. So go home and tell your parents what a good guy this guy is. We're going to create millions of union jobs, modifying the infrastructure, modernizing it. We're going to rebuild American manufacturing by enforcing a Buy America plan. Let me be clear. The fact is that the President of the United States, there's over $600 billion in contracts awarded to get things done, everything from building ships to infrastructure. No one will get a contract, and this does not violate any trade policy. No one will get a contract in a Biden administration that doesn't provide products, all of which were made in America. Made in America. That would create millions of new jobs. Look, let me be clear also. I'm not banning fracking in Pennsylvania or anywhere else. And I'm going to protect Pennsylvania jobs, period. No matter how many times Donald Trump lies, he's never delivered on his promise for a big infrastructure plan. He told you in 17, I've got an infrastructure plan coming. And then 18, 19, and 20. He hadn't done a thing. It's right up there where they say he's going to protect pre-existing conditions. He hadn't done a thing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to build roads, bridges that are crumbling. Climate change is accelerating more frequently, and extreme weather events. Just look at the wildfires in California, the hurricanes along the Gulf Coast. My state of Delaware, one of the lowest lying states above sea level, on the verge of being flooded. According to the best data we have, southeast Pennsylvania, including Bucks County, is warming faster than any part of this state. How long before floods start picking up along the Delaware River? We can do something about this. And we better get it done. We better get it done. And by the way, we don't do things like those chumps out there with a microphone are doing, the Trump guys. It's about decency. Look, we've got to come together. I was reminded of that early this month when I went to the sacred ground of Gettysburg. Abraham Lincoln told us, a house divided cannot stand. But remember what Donald Trump said when COVID-19 deaths reached 200,000 in America? He said, if you look at the blue states with Democratic governors and just look at the red states with Republican governors, we're doing well. Well, first of all, it's not true. The great rise has happened in most of the red states. But that's not the point. Think of what he's saying about what's going on in America. He's saying, if you live in Pennsylvania, you're not his problem. If you live in a red state, Alabama, he may think about you. He's not responsible for your family's well-being if you're in a blue state. Folks, I don't see the president that way. I don't see it that way. I don't see America that way. I'm running as a proud Democrat, but I will govern as an American president for everybody. I'll work as hard for those who don't support me as those who do, including those chumps with the microphone out there. Look, that's the job of a president. The duty to care for everyone, the duty to heal. And you too have a sacred duty, and that's to vote. It matters. Pennsylvania matters. So please vote. Help get out the vote. Visit iwillvote.com/PA. Return your ballot as soon as possible. Make sure everyone you know does the same. Folks, as Bobby Casey and others I've served with in the Senate can tell you, my colleagues used to always kid me, because I remember one sentence from President Kennedy's speech about going to the moon. He answered the question that wasn't asked but was implied. He said, we're going to do it because we Americans, we refuse to postpone. I refuse to postpone the work we must do. There's nothing beyond our capacity. There is no limit to America's future. The only thing that can tear America apart is America itself. Look, folks, everybody knows who Donald Trump is. Let's show them who we are. We choose hope over fear. We choose unity over division, science over fiction, truth over lies, and yes, honor and integrity over lying. So it's time to stand up. Let's take back our democracy now. We can do this. There's nothing we cannot do. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.